All right, so here I am with Poison, the IGL of Arial Arise. Just made it into the past the first stage of major qualifications, whatever that means for the upcoming
Phase two.
circuit.
Yep. Phase two.
And Poison, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. The spring fling or whatever they call it when they switch the hours kind of fucking me up a little bit, but I'm
Yeah,
all good.
fair play. I think it screwed up some people I was working with too. So it's hitting everyone. No worries about that.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a little bit weird.
Yeah. So I figure the best place to start is Ariel Arise because this is the new team that you just joined with Asian, and this is
Yeah.
like a strong core. We know this core of players. Quartz, Tra, and Freak. Like we know these are good players. We know this is a strong team. Like why join this team?
Um, a lot of it was like instead of usually making a team, which I feel like I kind of end up doing a lot of the time, this team was like it was ready to join. I knew it was like a really strong core of players, and also I don't know, a big concern with a lot of teams is like, do the people care as much as me? Because like I like practice. I have my teams practice like a lot usually, or as much as possible, and like
Yeah.
we do a lot of like annoying things, like things that I guess aren't like this like conventionally like always super fun.
Yeah.
So like sometimes we'll be like have to go in jog runs, like make sure we know shit, like practice lineups. Like well, I'm not trying to like do it too much, but I think it's important to do that for a little bit at a time to make sure you're clear on stuff. And I think it does
Yeah.
help us a lot. So like it's nice to be able to join a team where like everyone's kind of already on the same page and not having to like worry if people are gonna care. Because a lot of teams you join, they just like don't have the same like level of interest as you in dedication. So
Yeah. So like
this team is
the
really
aerial
dedicated.
so these Ariel Arise boys, like when you were considering joining them, they already had that like level of dedication to be like, yeah, we
Yeah,
do want to do those drills. We want to dot our I's and cross our
and I've
T's.
known that. Yeah, I teamed with Freak and T3, and I've been friends with Freak for a while now. So, and obviously I know Quartz and Shaw. So,
Yeah.
Quartz tried out for Nocturnes in stage two. He
Oh
was
wow.
gonna be the person we would pick up if we didn't get Xeno, because Xeno had a pro league shot, I think, at the time, or he was trying out
Mm,
for another CLT. I can't remember. But yeah,
cool. And
so yeah, I'm
so
familiar.
and so that kind of works out. I suppose when I first saw this team, I was like, first off, like, damn, that's a stack of gunners. My second thought was, how do the roles work out? Because you see that team and you see a lot of talent, and like obviously you're more of a supportive player yourself, but not necessarily on the like hard breach role. Historically speaking, like that was Twist's role in Vipers.
Nah,
So,
usually I am Heartbreach. That
oh
was just
really?
kind of that one. Yeah, that was kind of just like that one team for a short time we tried it,
Okay,
and it was, I guess, working okay at the time. But yeah,
okay.
usually I am. I've played like soft support like two or three times in my career, but like pretty much for the most part, I'm hard support usually, like
Okay.
Heartbreach. Yeah,
So that starts at
so
one part of the
I'm comfortable
question.
with both. Yeah, I'm comfortable with both.
But like, I suppose my question is still like, who makes up the rest of that supportive like core with you? Because like, obviously, freaking Asian, you think like, oh well, those guys
Mhm.
got to be on the entry of an
Yeah.
entry duo, and then like, so is Tra in that more supportive role, or is it
So
Quartz, or is it
so
like
Tra
Mix?
is the
Oh
technical
shit.
soft support.
Okay.
And then Quartz is the flex, but like it is a little bit weird, I guess, because Shaw is like a more quiet player. Like you could kind of like equate him to like DS Lucas, I guess. Like he's very clutch, but he is kind of like more quiet, and I think he's never really played the soft support role, so he's getting used to it.
Okay.
So like his like enabling abilities, I think are like improving by the day. I think me and Quartz right now tend to be like the main enablers, but yeah, that's kind of something we're kind of looking to improve on every day, like kind of setting up micro plays and like the communications between our teammates with that.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of really good talent, and sometimes if we could work on those like those intricate like coordinated plays off teammates' calls, like that everyone's calling off of info, then it could help a lot. We could all improve on that. So
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, obviously the talent's there, and like you're clearly working on stuff. This isn't like a super established team quite yet, but like, what do you think
yeah.
already some of the strengths of this roster in particular are over like your competitors?
I mean, it's usually just like gun skill difference a lot of the time. Like Asian and Freak like have like ridiculous aim. Like if you put them in Pro League, like they would be like a top, probably like a top 10 aimer in the league. I don't something like that. Like their aim is ridiculous. Like obviously aim like the difference between CL and PL is usually not really aim because everyone can kind of shoot their gun in CL and PL. It's more like your ability to coordinate with teammates. But like a lot of time, like you can kind of just get rounds and stop them hitting crazy shots with a drone on them. It's like it kind of is a little bit of a like a cheat code right now, but so yeah.
Fair.
And then also Courts and Shaw like are very good aimers too. They have good gunners. Like on their previous teams, like they were always putting up good numbers, good stats on fragging rolls. So like it's kind of like you almost got like I guess Sonics type B. Like I feel like I'm kind of like just sitting there droning everyone like super, and then you got like four like really talented players like just kind of going hammies.
Yeah. Cool. That's really interesting to hear, especially with the like super angle, which I guess we can use that as a
Mhm.
good transition to talk about the IGL role because you are also an IGL, and not only that, I think you're kind of in that like next up position. So, what do you
Yeah.
think of the IGL role and like what it's supposed to do? Like just in broad strokes, or however deep you want to take this one.
Mhm. Um. So yeah, I'm like the main IGL for the team, obviously, but strat making, it's mainly me and Asian.
Okay.
I've done probably like 75%, Asian's only 25%, but he joined a bit later, so but yeah, we collaborate on most of the strats. The shot call, yeah, I basically call the actual push we're gonna do almost every round, but again in the like people definitely have input after rounds. People have like certain calls during the round. Like I would say mainly me, Courts, and Asian are like the main callers. You'll occasionally hear like a Freak or a Traw call, but like me, Courts, and Asian tend to be the more vocal people who have input on like the actual like kind of logistics of our push and stuff like that, and on defense wise too.
Okay. And so, like, with the IGL role specifically, like, as an individual role, what do you think their, like,
Mhm.
responsibilities are? Is it just to call of a general push and then just, like, help set up players, or what do you think they're supposed to do?
Kind of hold it all together. I think the IGL isn't supposed to call like every single thing because you know you have five people on your team. You're not always gonna have vision, but you need to be really good at kind of like receiving information and making things out of the received information, and also you know your own intellect and what you're seeing yourself. But I
Okay.
mean, I don't. It's like hard to be like putting exactly like yeah, you're the leader of the team, you're calling the push. Like it's like sometimes you're just some rounds you're just not gonna call the push because someone else like sees something. But like for the most part, yeah, you're calling the push. You're just the guy I feel like who's calling the push and calling the shots basically most of the time. I
Okay.
guess. Yeah.
So, I guess that raises a question. Like, when we think of the IGL role, though, especially in NA, there's not a lot of names on that list. Like, if you looked at T2 in what 2022, you probably had like you, Mr. B, and like Vivid are like proper IGLs, like official IGLs who have committed to the role, as it were. And then you've
Yeah.
got like for other teams, you might say like for unemployment, oh, Karn's VIGL, but like that's more out of necessity than like does he really want to be VIGL kind of thing. Why are there so few IGLs?
So yeah, a lot of it's just I think the difference is like you have people who are like kind of full leader like personality, like me and Mr. B kind of just like leaders. Like we run our teams. Like that's kind of like our main strength. I think Mr. B is even more of like a gung ho leader than myself because like I've been on teams where like I'm chill with not calling or like not being the head
Okay.
leader, but I couldn't see Mr. B not being on a team where like
Oh
he's
yeah.
not like he has to. Me, I would say I'd like to and I prefer to like most of the time, but like it's not like a confirmed thing, but usually the main attribute I bring is like good leadership. Like you're not bringing me onto a team for like my mechanical skill.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think I would consider Karn to be like a full leader, but I haven't teamed with all these people. Vivid, yeah, he's like looking to coach now, so it's like it's hard to tell. But yeah, I don't know. I just think a lot of these people like maybe they're IGLs, you know, they're calling shit for their team, but it's not like they're like I guess like full leader like go crazy. It's just there's always kind of that like 5-man system still in
Yeah.
the team.
Do
I
you think
guess where just
that?
kind of everyone calls. They're a little bit looser and chill with it.
Yeah. Do you think? Speaking of that, like five man calling style that I want to say XSET now M80 kind of popularized. Do you think that's like a good system, or do you think that kind of only has short term success?
I personally think that I personally like having a IGL on a team to go to, but it's the job of all five. Again, playing the Siege is just a 5-man system in general. Like
Yeah.
everyone's making call outs. So like I like personally having like an IGL, but like sometimes the IGL is not gonna have the information. It's kind of just like you got to make sure that everyone can call and get their stuff out without like stepping on each other's toes. But I
Yeah.
personally think it is good to have one person calling the take. Like I think the initial take, I think it's pretty good to have like one person calling it for the most part. It just kind of like clear, like it won't slow you down with like having to decide between certain pushes.
Yeah, and like when I say like the five man calling versus the whole
Like all
IGL
five
thing,
calling. Yeah.
yeah, it's not like oh, it's either the IGL is the only one talking in a round or like versus the five
Yeah.
man everyone's talking. It's more like at the end of the day, who has the final say? Like who are when it's
Yeah.
like last 20 seconds, you diffuser in hand, 2v2, whatever the
Mhm.
Pengu copy pasta is like. Who's making the call of what you're going to do to win that round, and will you commit to it?
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of like the well, I guess that's a different argument, but like if it's like a 2v2, if the IGL is dead and like on flank cams, like most of the
Yeah,
time, like it's probably on the players to create that. But like, yeah, I'm just a fan of like, do you have an IGL the team and they're making most of the calls, but like you're never locked into something because again, Siege is like a in the moment, in the
yeah,
like in the round kind of thing. There's a million different scenarios like every round. Like it's like so you're never confined to like one person's views. So it's like a
yeah.
5-man system. I like 5-man system, but you have an IGL to back up on if needed, I
Okay.
guess. So
Yeah.
that'd be the way I describe it.
Sweet. And so from there, just kind of I want to talk about that because I think the IGL role is kind of like underrepresented. I don't know if underrepresented is a word, but just like people know it exists and they should like consider it important, but they don't really like give it the
But
fair
they
value
don't see
or
it.
like
Mm.
yeah, because it's not tangible. You can't say like
Yeah, yeah, it's not.
poison IGL'd 3 round winning pushes. Like we
Yeah,
don't
and
have the
I
cons.
could be quote unquote like this team could be like better off without me if I left, or they could be worse without me. Like it's hard to
Yeah,
like you don't really yeah.
because
So
those
it's hard to know.
intangibles are well
Mm.
intangible. You can't look on the stat board
Yeah,
for it. And like I think we
yeah.
kind of saw that kind of with like Beast Coast or something. They got rid of Drip and like they
Mm.
couldn't attack for shit. Like
Yeah.
his stats weren't that good, but clearly there's something there that was important to the
Yeah,
success of the
something to
team.
provide. Yeah.
So just like those intangibles do matter.
Mhm.
From there, I do want to kind of transition into Vipers because that
Yeah.
was the team you were on for most of 2023. And
Yeah.
how do you
And a
think
lot
the
of 2022,
yeah or
yeah.
yeah 2022? I'm still getting used to those years, man.
No, I was part of 2023 too.
Yeah. How do you think the team did in retrospect? Because like obviously now you're with Arial Arise, different core, and like Vipers kind of fell apart at the end. So like looking back at it, how do you think this team did just overall over its run?
I mean, considering that in stage 2 I got 6th in CL and stage 3 I got 3rd in CL, I would consider it an improvement. But Vipers kind of struggled. Vipers had a lot like weaker dedication and mentalities than Ariel Arise. Like we had like again talented players. I would say probably not as talented as my current team, but
Okay.
we definitely had talented players for sure. But it was mainly like people like not caring that much, or people not wanting to grind, or like there was always some issue with the team. Like we finished our CL season, and like I think the first thing we did is like we were trying out people for Filthy's spot, but it was like a maybe that we were gonna get rid of Filthy, like he was down to play still. Then we decided to keep Filthy. Then a couple days later, Filthy had to quit the team because he had some IRL stuff, like he was looking to like get a trucking license. Like he also has like a family and stuff,
Oh
so he
yeah.
was kind of like dealing with that. So like, and then so that kind of just like wasted 2 weeks. And then we picked up Nyx for Filthy, and then Nyx is cool for a bit, and then it didn't work out, and then we got no, we got Drix before
Tricks,
Nyx,
yeah.
and that didn't work. That was like a week. That wasn't working. Then we got Nyx. It was always some little thing. Like one player wasn't getting along with someone else, or one player wasn't dedicated, or one player had to leave the team. We never could like actually just sit there and get work done. And it was like it definitely I feel like was not too much like my fault in that regard. Like
So it was like
um
it was like they had Vipers had the talent and had the potential, but it was just a matter of dedication and like being
yeah, I would
willing
say that
to
was the
work
biggest
through
thing.
some rough patches, and that just never happened.
Yeah, and like I think yeah, like Maxing Craters, like really good players. Those like the two guys like I mainly stayed with towards the end. And like nowadays I just think they like I'm still good friends with them, but I just don't think they like respected like my calling as much or thought I was as good. Like they didn't just because they'd seen like I guess like how bad I am mechanically, and that's something I'm trying to work on like every
Yeah,
day. Cause like I suck mechanically, but
yeah,
yeah, I think they saw like I guess how bad I was mechanically, and like I don't know that like kind of made them think I wasn't that good anymore. Cause they left the team because like I was trying to like I was literally like being annoying because like I wanted us to improve so much. Like I was making sure I was like holding people accountable because that was another thing. Like earlier in the team, like it was big on like keeping like a chill vibe and like I think that's cool and all until like people like aren't like taking criticism that well. Like I
yeah,
think Twist is like a really good player, really good friend, but I don't think I'd like fit on a team with him well because I don't think he takes criticism that well. Like sometimes like I would definitely like criticize him like a bit harshly, but like he would like be like he would say like or he would what was it? Like he wouldn't listen to the criticism if I was like yelling at him. Like it had to be in a good tone. And it's again a lot of this like esports stuff like you gotta like not take stuff personally. Like if someone's yelling at you like a lot is just like love for the competition. I could go on and on about this because like for
yeah.
example Asian like
Like
a lot he is a player who a lot of people think has a bad reputation. Me I'm very close friends with Asian, so I guess I have like a better point of view. Like outside of our team, like I'm just good friends with him.
yeah,
But I think his quote unquote mental of course could be better, but a lot he has a negative stigma of him as like a bad mental, bad teammate. Like but I think his bad mental is just him like being super competitive and not controlling his emotions in the most like practical way, not like him actually being a bad person. A lot of people they gotta like understand that like sometimes when people are getting mad, it's just they're very competitive and sometimes they don't know how to handle their emotions. Not that they
yeah,
hate you.
yeah.
Like
It's not
people like
like
I think Twist would like kind of take that and like not take the criticism like if I got mad at him or someone else and it wasn't like a and it never was a serious that serious with Twist because again Twist like a chill guy. I'm really good friends with Twist. Like I fuck with Twist a lot. I
yeah,
just don't think we'd work on a team that well. It's just he also sees the game very. I'm more of like a I'm definitely just a more structured, like planned out Siege player. Twist is a more just like crazy wild. Like he likes to be in the moment when he plays, and it's kind of and he's good at he likes how he plays. I like how I play, but like and
yeah.
we're cool.
And you
But like
know,
yeah, he
sometimes
definitely
that's
likes a different
how it
style.
is. Sometimes
Yeah,
that's
that's
how
just
it
how
is
it is.
with teams. It's like some players can get along well personally, but sorry, playstyle wise, like it just doesn't line up. And you know what? That's all
Mhm.
right. But like, what was it like? You kind of touched on creators there, but what was it like
Mhm.
working with some former pros, like creators, like Filthy? Now you're working with Asian, who technically
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
pro
a recent, but
for,
yeah.
yeah. Like, what did they teach you anything?
I think yeah, for sure. I definitely learned a lot. I think like Craters is like a really good player. Like I think personally he probably could have gotten himself back into the league if he was more dedicated and he like networked better because he's
Mm,
kind of like a ghost like if you're not on a team with him like he didn't play like FPL that much or like talk on social media. So a lot of people forgot about him, but yeah, Tim, that's what I call that's what I call it. But like
yeah,
he's a really good player. He can play literally any role on a team well. He can pocket call. He can make strats. Like Tim's really good. Sometimes he was not that dedicated. Like not like he wouldn't show up. Like he was like something about him. He was always there whenever he had practice. It's just like some days I felt like his raw like dedication and care was just not there,
Yeah,
like for sure. But yeah, really good player, and I still think like I can go further on with Vipers, but
yeah. No,
yeah,
we don't
those
have to go too
no,
deep.
no, I could say because like I could clear up because like Tim and Max like they were like I wanted to keep them on the team for sure, but it was kind of just like one day like after a scrim, like it was like kind of getting to the point where like they were them two were like kind of like trolling and having fun, like a little bit because like obviously you're trying to have fun during your practices,
Yeah,
but when it kind of like I guess my like where I draw the line is like when it's like affecting your actual play of the team, like it's like all right, bro, like chill out, like we're
yeah.
still trying to
You
get work done here,
gotta
yeah.
still get work done at
Because
a
I
certain
care a
point.
lot about this stuff, so it's like it's one thing if I didn't care that much, but like I care a lot about it. So
Yeah,
like yeah, basically I was like, yo, Tim, Matt, if you guys aren't gonna like have the same like dedication and you guys is like gonna affect our game, then like I don't want to play with y'all. Because like at the time, like I think technically Tim had the license if you were quote unquote, but again, we never really like differentiated that much
yeah,
with our team. Like we're just a team. But they just decided they were just gonna leave after that because like they didn't want to like mess with what I was doing because they understood that I was pretty dedicated to what I was working with Spiker and Reverse.
yeah.
Yeah, so
And that's again completely okay.
they're
Like
really
if
good
you're,
players. Like they kind
yeah,
of let I like I would have still teamed with them. It's just like I don't think they were on the same wavelength, like
yeah.
as dedicated, quite as much care.
And
Still good
that
players, still good friends.
that's all right. It happens, right?
Yeah, for
So
sure, for sure.
I did want to touch on one more thing before we get into the last topic, which was
Yeah.
working with Nyx, because you teamed
Mhm.
with him on Nocturnes back in stage one, and
Yeah.
Mr. B previously called that like a travesty or something.
Mhm.
And then, you know, he wasn't on the team, and then on Vipers during SCS, you guys brought on Nyx again. What was it like
Yeah.
working with Nyx, and why is he like so, I guess, valuable that he keeps getting all these chances? Because I think the common narrative is like Nyx isn't worth it to a certain
Mhm.
extent because of some reason. But he keeps getting these chances for a good reason, right? Otherwise, he just wouldn't
Yeah.
be on a team again.
I think Nyx is like similar to like Asian. He has like a he's not a bad guy. It's not like he like hates people. It's just he's not very good at controlling his emotions and he cares a lot.
Hmm.
Um I think he might even do it a little bit worse than Asian probably, but yeah, I don't know, Nyx is like a good person like outside of the game and he cares a lot. But yeah, I'm just not sure of like his like composure as a player too. Like he'd sometimes get emotional as like a leader in the team, like in important games, which is like understandable. But like I personally, I believe in like you shouldn't be too emotional in games or like caught up with stuff.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know. I mean, Nyx could be a good player, but I personally think like it still seems like because like when we played them in a invite calls this weekend and like people were and he was streaming and people were watching his stream and people were like telling me like he was like kind of like getting tilted at like because Asian was just like popping off one of the maps on map 2 when we were about to win the series and he was like, yeah, I don't know what to do, guys. I can't really do anything at this point. It's like his mental was kind of getting shot still, and it's like
mm,
he like I don't think he's a bad person, but like his mental I just don't think is like strong enough to like
do you think
be
if
what he
he
used to
upped
be.
it? Do you think if
Oh,
he upped his?
100%.
Hmm.
It's just I don't know if he I just don't know if he's capable at this point because like he's definitely been I feel like when I teamed with him on Nocturnes, his mental was god awful, but when I teamed with him on Vipers, I felt like his mental was much improved. It still wasn't that good, but it was much improved. And then it still seems like it's like not like as bad as it used to be, but he has a bad track record and it's still not perfect. So like if he really really improved on his mental, I think he would potentially have like some success. Like I know he still cares a lot about the game and like but he's also like burnt a lot of bridges with his connections. So like his best bet would be to like get a ton of like unknown underagers or not underagers, just T3 players who'd be like next up and kind of build a team with them who would listen to him and he would need to keep a good composed mental, teaching them all how to play. Like, because I don't
Yeah.
think anyone like pretty good right now really wants a team with him. Like I wouldn't want a team with him again, and I'm cool with Knicks. Like it's no issue again. Like
Yeah.
I just it hasn't worked out the two times I teamed with him, and I would personally like wouldn't want to team with Knicks again right now. And I know a lot of people like haven't even teamed with Knicks before, and they wouldn't want to team with him either. So I feel like he kind of needs to like get some respect back and like prove that he has a good mental, and he really needs to like work on that. That's like his biggest weakness because
Okay.
he's a solid aimer, solid IGL, you know.
Yeah. And last topic I want to talk about because it's something that I've been trying to like not necessarily document, but just have people
Yeah.
talk about because it's important is the T2 landscape because Blast is obviously doing work for tier 1. Like we can see that, pro leagues going on right now, all that good stuff. But for tier 2, outside of the major qualifications, like we don't necessarily have a lot
Yeah,
confirmed.
I'm not really sure if the major quals like the phases of what CL is now, or if I've heard rumors that CL might happen during the summer. But I've heard again, people just be like making up the rumors about the CL stuff. Like, so I don't know. I have like a maybe it might happen. I don't think it's like a confirmed 0% because like when I was on, well, now I'm not on Vipers anymore, but like when it was like only me on Vipers with like Spike and Reverse, like Filthy like transferred the
License.
Vipers license to me, and like the guy who like got the email was like, yeah, all right, sounds good, transferring it, and it's like, why would he be transferring a license if CL like wasn't happening at all? So like,
Hmm.
I don't really know. Like again, I have no clue with this Ubisoft because the communication's kind of bad with this stuff a lot of the time, but. CL
Yeah.
is either not happening at all, this phases stuff is it CL, or it's gonna happen in stage two of this year, or it's gonna happen in the summer. So like in the off season. So
Yeah.
who knows whatever one that's gonna be, but
Do you
I
like the way that the
yeah.
format's currently working to a certain extent? Because like the major
I like
quals
it, yeah, but
offer a
I
good
would like CL to
opportunity.
happen for sure.
Hmm.
I personally think that the CL maybe in the off season could be pretty good because
That way,
if
it
it
kind of
happened like
shows
pretty early in the second the major was done, and like that way it could like usually pro teams are taking their breaks after the major for a bit while CL's happening. Then like maybe by the time they start maybe doing roster moves, like CL would be almost done or practically done, and they could start kind of looking at CL players. So
yeah, that's actually a good
I
way
don't
to
know.
run it.
I would like to CL. I would like to have CL happen in some form. But yeah, who knows if that's gonna happen or what it will be. But
Cool.
guess we'll see. Maybe they'll
Yeah,
announce something.
here's hoping.
Yeah.
Uh, and to close out, is there anything you want to say or anyone you want to shout out?
Well, I mean, I'll shout out the current Arial Rise team because I think we've been doing a really good job. Like, I have us like practicing a lot. Like, we're kind of like double scrimming almost every day. And we have a couple off days every week too. But like, yeah, they've been kind of trusting the process. I think back to Vipers, I think that was kind of a big thing too. Like, they never really like were able to like full submerge in the poison system and like full trust it. And like we are kind of like half committed to systems and kind of like just a random assortment of good players that weren't like committed to a system. Like I feel like this team's like pretty committed to a system and improvement. They'll listen to me, I'll listen to them and change my system as needed. So I mean, shout out Ariel. You know, I think they believe in me and I believe in them. So we've been doing good so far. So we're a brand new team. So we'll see what happens in the future, though. I think it's promising.